Shalom Akim. All praise and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Kakadash. Double honors to the apostles of Great Millstone. Salutation to you, Akim, doing the work in truth and sincerity. And this video is going to be entitled Martial Law, because basically we are in martial law. Without them calling for martial law, we're in martial law. And I got a couple of headlines that, prove it. And of course I got a scripture, because this is, pretty much for the last several days, these are the things that I've been focusing on, the things are hovering around the coronavirus. And basically without them saying it, they put the U.S. under martial law. Whether it be the border closings, now they're limiting people. Gatherings should be limited to 10 people, Trump says. Here in Michigan, the governor called for 50 people, but Trump is calling for 10 people. So you can't have any gathering more than 10 people at a time. They didn't close restaurants and bars and everything like that. Hey, we're basically in martial law. We're in martial law without them saying that the military is going to be on the street, or without them saying that there's going to be a time limit for you to be outside and in the house. So I'm going to read a few of these articles, read some of these headlines and probably a couple of things from these articles, and then, let you see it for yourself. And yeah, hey, this coronavirus, they ready to do this thing, and it's going to lead to the mark of the beast, Lord willing it will. And then of course Yahushua will be back soon after that. Now this is the first headline from the New York Times. Gatherings should be limited to 10 people, Trump says. President Trump recommended strict new guidelines, but they fell short of what experts wanted. France and San Francisco Bay Area are ordering residents to stay home as much as possible, basically self-quarantine. And I was reading another article which came out 27 minutes ago from the Washington Post. Now, I don't have a subscription to it, so they won't let me actually read it, but I can actually click on it so you can see the headline. Don't want to self-quarantine, the sheriff could send armed guards to your house. That's martial law. If that ain't martial law, what is then? If you don't want to self-quarantine, the sheriff can send armed guards to your house, man. That is martial law. So, and then of course I pulled up articles. Canada closing borders to non-citizens. Coronavirus live updates restrictions. Last month's Canada closing borders. Germany, latest country to close borders, BBC News 1 day ago. Canada border closing non-citizens 13 hours ago. Europe plans for full border closing in virus battle 9 hours ago. Health experts warn against closures. No, you can't do anything about it. Why? Because the one that's putting this in Esau's mind is the Lord. And then of course all of these martial law tactics is really designed because the economy is about to crash in a big way, in a huge way. So the government is preparing for it already. We're already under martial law. Matter of fact, we've been under martial law ever since Trump called for that national emergency, because this economy is actually crashing, and they're trying to get a hold of it before it actually happens. But it's going to happen, and they're using the coronavirus to be the marker for it, rather than just saying, oh, the economy is going to crash and prices are going to start skyrocketing, we're going into hyperinflation, and things like that. They don't want to panic the citizens. So what's the next best thing? Coronavirus, self-quarantine, close all these stores, because if you use dollars, then you can get the coronavirus. If you touch somebody, you can get the coronavirus. Blah, blah, blah. But this economy is about to crash in a big way. Curfew. A curfew is an order specifying a time during which certain regulations apply. Typically, it refers to a time when individuals are required to return to and stay in their homes. It's that self-quarantine. Such an order may be issued by public authorities, but also by the head of a household to those living in the household. Now, New Jersey sets voluntary statewide curfew and casinos and bars and gyms closing until further notice. New York City is considering everything, including curfew. Portland announces curfew for bars, restaurants, and other establishments. Now, how do you know we're under a curfew law right now? Well, all the 24-hour stores are closing now. They're closing at what? Walmart is set to close at 11 o'clock. Some Walmarts close at 10 o'clock p.m. Myers is closing now at I believe it's 10 o'clock p.m. now. You know, hey, that's basically a curfew. Everybody got to start going home at a certain time, and it's gonna be set in stone soon. However, the curfew is already called without being called a curfew. Just like martial law is already in effect without being called martial law. I mean, we're already in the thin of it right now. I say the thin of it because we're in the beginning stages of it. We'll be in the thick of it real soon. However, you can go outside today. If you go outside today, which I actually plan on doing, I'm gonna film some of the things that's going on. It's gonna be nothing out there. Nobody can gather. All the schools are closed. All the bars are closed. All the restaurants are closed. We're under curfew. I mean, hey, this is martial law right here. You don't have to say it's martial law. All you got to do is look at the signs. I mean, I already read the self-quarantine thing. If you don't want to self-quarantine, the sheriff could send armed guards to your house. So we're basically under martial law without them calling it martial law. And the definition for martial law is the imposition of direct military control of normal citizen or civilian functions by a government. What is a normal civilian function? Gathering. People gathering is a normal civilian function. People leaving the country, because pretty soon it's going to be state to state. But people leaving the country is a natural civilian function. People being outside is a natural civilian function. They're having curfews now. And if you don't want to self-quarantine, the sheriff could send armed guards to your home. Military control by the government. So we're under martial law, whether you want to believe it or not. And things, Lord willing, things will not go back to the regular American way of life. You know, of course, in my own opinion, I believe the next prophecy is going to be the mark of the beast, because they already have martial law in place. And of course, us in the know, if you've been watching, the stock market then crashed twice within the last few weeks. So it's going to get worse. And there are economic experts are saying that it's not going to recover this time. And the way it's looking, since they have all the makings of martial law, since we're in martial law right now, hey, this economy is going to crash for sure. And what are they going to do to convince the peons to be saved? Oh, you got to get this mark of the beast or this chip. We got to make sure you're a safe person. You know, hey, they could do it in a number of ways. But this video is basically letting you Akim and you Akwath that watch, letting y'all know that, hey, we're in martial law right now. They don't have to say it's martial law for it to be martial law. You know, just look at all the signs. And I got one scripture, 2 Ezra 15, and starting at 14. Woe to the world and them that dwell therein, for the sword and their destruction draweth nigh. And this is it right here. The sword and their destruction draweth nigh, man. It's basically here. They already got the makings of martial law, all the signs of martial law, without putting boots on the ground where you can see normally. However, everything else is already in place, whether it be border closing, you can't gather in more than 10 people at a time, you have a curfew, and if you don't want to self-quarantine, then they can send guards to your home. It's all martial law. And one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands. That's coming. That's coming. One people shall stand up and fight against another. For there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power. A man shall desire to go into a city, and shall not be able. For because of their pride, the city shall be troubled, the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. This is all coming, man. A man shall desire to go into a city and not be able. They already putting that in place. For there shall be sedition among men. That's all coming. Why? It said in 15 it says their sword and for the sword and their destruction draweth nigh. They're about to put these boots on the ground, man. A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword and spoil their goods because of the lack of bread. Famine is coming. Why? Because the economy is about to crash. For great tribulation. Behold, saith the Most High, I will call together all, saith Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, I will call together all the kings of the earth to reverence me, which are from the rising of the sun, from the south, from the east, and Lebanus, to turn themselves one against another and repay the things that they have done to them. Who is it them? Repay the things that they have done to the Israelites, man. So all these kings of the earth ruled under Esau is about to go to war with one another. And in the cities themselves, there's going to be riots going on everywhere. Every type of riot you can imagine. We're in the beginning stages of it. This is truly the year of prophecy, man. March the 17th, 2020, year of prophecy. Hey, we're in martial law. And great tribulation is coming. So, hey, with that, for you Akim and you few Akwath, be circumspect. Things is about to get real busy. The Lord is finna do his thing. With that, I'm going to say Shalom, all praise and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Karkadash. Double honors to the apostles of Great Millstone. Salutation to you Akim, doing the work in truth and sincerity. Hey, keep your eyes on that heavenly penny. Shalom.